Hello everyone on YouTube and welcome to a new 3D Artcore tutorial. Now this time we're going to do something special, probably most of you already familiar with this, and this is a piece made by Jishnu, basically trying to replicate the welcome intro for Maya or 3ds Max or any Autodesk product for that sake. So if you open and you pay attention, there is always this visual nice kind of add-on to it. So basically, this is what we're gonna do, and in order to do this, we will need to do some work, and I will try to do my best not to stretch this a little bit too much of what's necessary for it. Now, I suggested to him to follow my other tutorial that related to the ambient occlusion with the wireframes in order to create wireframes as without triangles. Though I do think that the triangles in this particular case are really appealing to this um, model. So by the way, I also shared with him earlier versions of mine. I never got to do too much with them, except sharing them with you. It's been in April 2013, so that's pretty much it. So I decided to create a tutorial mainly because I've seen that too many people since then, since this conversation with him, asked for a tutorial. For some of you, it's probably pretty obvious to create this. For some of you, maybe it's not. So why not learning this and put this all behind so people will be able to enjoy something that they can easily create, though it won't be easy. By the way, it will take a little bit of effort from you, though it's still not something that hard than modeling, right? So we're gonna start off by saying that I'm using Maya 2016. This version is not like earlier versions, and that means that at least for one thing they did fix something that's always related to me especially. Every time that I'm trying to start model something in Maya, I go over create, and if you've seen other tutorials of mine, I'm going over polygon primitives and unchecking the interactive creation in order for me to be able to use these shapes here and drop each one of them instantly to the grid. So with Maya 2016, I don't need to go and eliminate this option in order to do so. So I'm gonna drop a plane here from the polygon shelf. By the way, make sure you are at polygon from this drop down menu, okay? And with this plane dropped at the center, it comes with default settings of 10 by 10 subdivision for the width and height. I'm gonna scale it with R, just like so, and I'm gonna use the attribute editor. Okay, you can open it with this icon here while this one is selected, and choose the polyplane tab and add subdivision width of 20. Basically, you're adding 10 and 10, okay, for width and height. Now, the reason I'm doing this is just to get a little bit more geometry on this surface. So right now, whenever I will start and scalp this, I will be able to do this much more smoothly without breaking the, making the figure to clip each other or, basically overlap each other when I'm gonna fold things here around. Now, I will do this very much gently. I don't wanna, do too much of maneuvers with it, though. Still, for the little bit that I'm going to do, I need a little bit more geometry. Now, whenever it's selected the portion, you can see that the center is representing here. Now, the reason I select 20 by 20 is so later on I will use the grow selection tool. The grow selection tool works like this. Show keyboard viewer, and there is a reason why I'm showing you this is right now. If I'm gonna right click choose face, okay, and I'm choosing the 4 faces, well, let's unselect, and again these 4, you see, I'm targeting those 4, and if I'm gonna use shift hold down the shift, look what will happen with my keyboard. It will show you that on your keyboard there are more characters except the ones that counts with your, by default. I don't know, it's like default characters. So you can see that on your keyboard, your physical keyboard, by the way, you have these two arrows here. These two arrows will help us to use the grow selection feature. Basically, you will hold down the shift on your physical keyboard and click this at the same time, and basically it will grow selection as you see here. You see? Now, in order to make it even, you always need to get the center faces of those. So I'm gonna continue and do so until I will get here. Now, we're gonna use this later on. If you wanna decrease, you do it that way. Now, if I will happen to choose only one, this is what will happen if I will use this grow selection. You see, it's not even. Here I have two more to get to the end, and here I have three, and so here. So just be aware that there is a reason why I chose 20 on 20, not other numbers, and how to work with this grow selection tool. We will use it in a few minutes. Let's close this and continue. Now, I'm going to go over the form, okay? The deform section here, if you don't see it, you can go over modeling, make sure you're in modeling, and then you will see it. By default, it should be, by default for other earlier versions of Maya, it should be some other menu. I think deformations, you will need to go over here, choose animation, I think, okay, animation, and then you will find it there. I'm not sure, don't count on this. It's been a little bit more, time that it's been a long time since I used this feature on earlier versions of Maya. So deform, non-linear, okay, and twist. Now I'm going to open this twist option box, and so I can go over reset settings, and with this selected, I'm going to click apply. This will show you this nice feature here. Basically, this is sort of locator or gizmo of this twist deformer. So what you need to do is, first of all, align it with the object that you want to, deform. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do this right now, but the deformation works on the opposite way. So this is why we need to rotate this. I'm going to switch to rotation tool using E key on my keyboard, hold down the J key, and click left mouse click, hold and drag. At the same time, you are pressing the J key in order to snap this into 180 degrees. So you first hold down the J, and then you hold it down, left mouse click, rotate this, and it will snap to 180 degrees like so. When you've done with this, you switch to twist, and here you have low bound, high bound, start angle, and angle. Now, I already checked this so many times. Low bound and high bound, sometimes switching positions with start angle and end angle. Okay, so sometimes it will appear up there and sometimes it will appear down here. The reason, I have no idea. Anyway, you can open it up, the low bound, and you can open the high bound. And then you can start angle this from that point, and you can end angle this from that point. Okay, now that you've done this, basically, we don't want to do it too much. There's this word, I'm finding it a little bit hard to pronounce this. Exaggerate, right? Exaggerate. So you don't want to exaggerate too much, and you will do this something like so, just so the main purpose is to see just a little bit more of each side of this, surface. So if this surface will be, will created from two different colors, so I want to be able to see just a little bit from the upper parts and from the lower parts. So basically we will do this orange and white, okay, just so you will know, and you can do this green and white if you want. You can also twist this a little bit more in order to make this done. I'm not sure you want to do this though. I'm going to open the low boundaries a little bit more. And just for the sake of this, I'm going to make this that way. Okay. again, I'm not that fully satisfied with that, but what the heck. I'm gonna leave it that way. Thinking a little bit too much. Okay, that done, I'm gonna grab this portion, go over edit, delete by type, history. This will remove the twist deformer, and you won't be able to control it anymore, though this will be permanent from now on. Okay, so you can add another deformer to it and try and do this. Don't try the nonlinear band, because this will right now will create something which is bugged, I think. It simply takes the shape and duplicate it, and there will be two different shapes, and you don't want it, you don't want this to happen. Okay, so just try to apply something else or do something else with it. Now we're gonna scalp this a little bit, basically. So we're gonna use the scalp tool, which by default with Maya 2016 comes already built into it. But for some of you who using earlier versions of Maya, you only have this deformation brush, basically. If I recall, this is the name for it. You can find it here, somewhere here, and if you go over modeling and I don't know, something here, you will see it there. But for us, for whoever using Maya 2016, you go over sculpting and you simply choose the grab tool. Okay. Now there are many other tools you can use. I don't care. You can try them all and see what benefits it will get to you. Though right now I'm going to use ever so slightly the grab tool, and that's it. So I'm grabbing the tool, and you can see whenever I put my mouse over the object, you can see a circle. When I move it away, you won't see any circle. So I want you to point your mouse over the object, and if you see a circle, which is apparently something like that size, then it's good. If you don't see any circle at all, that means that your brush size is overscaled, uh, much bigger than your port view. So you need to hold on B as boomerang and left hold it down, and at the same time left mouse click, hold and drag your mouse from right to left to scale the brush size. So you can see that this is could be your case, and this is right now how you need it to be. Okay, something like that. So with that size of the brush, I'm gonna very gently do some modification to this shape. Now I'm grabbing this area here and I release. Okay, every time I'm doing this, I'm doing it with very slight steps like so. I don't want to do this too much. I want to examine this, and I can see that I need to open this up in this area. I don't want to get folds. Okay, and you want to press 3 to make sure that it's moved preview, and then you will be able to know better how the shape will look while it's moved. So it's better to move it right away. Okay, I'm folding this down, but I'm bringing this up. Remind me a song. Yeah, the song belongs to well, I forgot. Never mind. Well, it does mine because I like this band, but I liked it much more when I was a teenager. Right now, I hardly hearing them. Anyway, you can see what I'm up to. Just making things, I'm pushing it from here, and then I'm pulling it from here a little bit, making some nice curvatures to this model. It's a little bit hard to fold these, but well, this is a shape of a butt. Okay, like so. And let's move this like so. And let's fold this a little bit that way. Don't saturate. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. This is funny. but that's cool. I'm allowed to do mistakes. This is one of the ways to learn. All right, this is interesting shape, so I don't want to ruin this, and I want to keep it that way. And I don't want to stretch this video, so this is one of the reasons why I'm gonna stop here, okay? And I'm gonna choose copy it first, Control D to duplicate this, and moving the copy down here. With this one, I'm gonna use the polygon shelf and I'm gonna extrude it once, and you can see it's already been extruded, but I want to pull it outside the extrusion just a little bit with the blue arrow. The blue arrow is the Z key. It means that whenever you use the extrusion through this arrow, you're basically uniformly extruding, okay? So somewhat uniformly. But this is the direction that points out of the object most of the times. So I'm moving it towards there, a little bit pulling it to the left, and press 1 to exit smooth preview, and press F8 to bring it back to object mode. Right now, it has a thickness to it, and this is the thickness, by the way. These faces here, okay? These, I'm just selecting them so you'll be able to define this, okay? So what I want to do here is I want to right click, choose edge basically, and grab one of those edges. It doesn't matter which edge, it just matters that it will be on the same face strip of this thickness, okay? The thing that allows us this thickness. So you're gonna grab this edge here, Control, right click at the same time, edge ring utilities to edge ring and split. This will create a half cut of these faces all around this portion. Now, with that done, basically we have now two different cuts that we can assign color to each one of them. Okay. Now, if you recall, when we started, I showed you how to use the grow selection tool. So right now I need to find the center, and this is a little bit problematic when the shape is too curvatured like this. But anyway, I will assume that these four, or this section here, is what I'm looking for. I'm going to choose right, click, face, grab these two faces. I can count them, or I can simply try an error and find this center. Let's say I think these are, okay? Shift and that character to grow selection. You can see 3 left here, 3 left here. Let's check these sides, 4 here, and 2 here. Well, yeah, 2 here. So that means that I need to take, well, 1 to the left. So these 4, I need these 4. Okay? And grow selection. To here, to here. That's great. Shift another time. Again, I'm reminding you, I'm using Shift and this. Okay? Hold on the Shift and grow selection. And now, right away, I'm zooming in here and I want to select this strip of faces. So one more grow selection in order to get half cut of this portion. Right click, assign new material, and this is the time to speak about mental ray if I haven't already. We need to use mental ray shaders and mental ray engine, and for this you need to go and download mental ray from Autodesk website if you haven't already. My 2016 doesn't come with built-in mental ray plugin, so you will need to do this on your own. If you use earlier versions of Maya, you just need to enable it through your plugin manager. In both cases, you need to use the plugin manager in order to load it up if you haven't already. So you go over Windows, Setting Preferences, Plugin Manager, and just type in maya2mr.bundle. You see it's here. You just check the loaded options and the option and the autoload option and close it. Then, if you try to assign new material, you will see you have a mental ray option here. Now, I'm going to go over my web browser and I'm going to check something for you. First of all, you want to type in Autodesk Mental Ray. Okay, 2016. I'm gonna search for it. This will be the first option, Maya plugin, and you can see that Autodesk Maya Mental Ray plugin for Maya 2016 is here. It's also for Linux, also for Mac OS, also for Windows. So you get this option to download it from here, and then after you install this, you will be able to launch it through the plugin manager. Except this, I want you to look for free 3D news, okay? Like so, blogpost.coil or whatever, and there is this HDRI files here, high dynamic range files, okay? So there's 23 HDR images. I'm gonna look for them here, and you can download them for free, or you can also search in this blog HDRI Studio. Okay, hit the enter, and you will see that you have 3 different packs free of charge from DeviantArt, basically. HDR Studio Pack 1, HDR Studio Pack 2, and 3. So these 3 are free to use. You can take them, grab them, store them on your computer. Later on, we will use them. I'm gonna show you some of them, okay? And here you can download, okay? Downloading, great, okay? This is for now. Now, back to Maya. Mental Ray, we are still there. A Mental Ray, you choose Mental Ray, and for God's sake, something is wrong. I'm gonna close this. Right click, assign new material, Mental Ray, materials. Oh, I typed in something here, so this is why I can't see the other shaders. Maya material, X, okay. I'm gonna change this one into white through the attribute editor, by the way. And I'm gonna change the reflectivity, and I'm gonna lower it down to let's say 60, 70, I don't know. Glossiness, let's lower this down as well. And yeah, and then we will do the opposite side, okay? Let's grab these 4 faces, shift, grow selection. You can see here I left 3, here I left 5. That means that I need to go 2 to the left, and well, 1 to the left, and 1 down. So if these are the 4, I need to go here, 1, 2, 3, and not those. So these 4. Shift, grow selection, hopefully. Yeah, we are all good. And one more time to get the half cut of it. Right click, assign new material, Mental Ray, Maya Material X, choose green or some kind of a green like that one. I don't know. I don't remember how you call this in English, but in Hebrew we call it turquoise. And well, right now I'm gonna change the reflectivity of it. I'm gonna lower it very much down, and the glossiness as well. Okay, I want to stay very slight with those. I may disable them at all, but right now I'm gonna give it one more chance to perform better in my scene. So with that done, I'm gonna press F8, and by the way, we're gonna do something that we haven't done already. So we're gonna go over File, Project Window. We're gonna call this Abstract. Okay, you click here, New. Call this Abstract. Okay, and click Accept. That means we created a project folder for this project, and set project to Abstract. Okay, set and we are good to continue. Go File, Save Scene As, and let's save it inside this project folder as whatever we want, abstract 1. Okay, so we won't need to redo things all over. Now I'm gonna grab this thing here and I'm gonna bring it above, just a little bit above here. Sorry, I will move this up here and backwards. And I want to bring this backwards in a way that it won't interfere with the other one. You see, in some points it have to be overlapping each other. Now you can put this in a way that you can scale this up and it won't be seen or shown on your camera, and it really much depends on your angle. But you can avoid very big areas like this one, which is already not touching it, and you can readjust those. So you can take the scalp tool again, take the grab tool, and just simply, you see, gently pull these areas out of your way. But right now it's going to be a very mass thing to deal with. I will need to really do my best to put all these out of here and this underneath. I don't want to deal with it too much. I'm going to right click, choose vertices. I'm going to select these as like so. See, that way. And I will move these here. Well, this portion is a little bit problematic to deal with, I must admit. And by the way, I'm doing this on non-smooth preview mode. It can make overlap, which you don't want. So I'm in a little bit of confusion here with this. Press F8, bring it back to object mode. This is why I don't want to do too much maneuvers. Sculpting was a little bit exaggerated, right? Anyway, we will settle with something. Press F. I'm gonna bring this back to normal, and I'm gonna bring this here, that there, this one here. The thing is that I still like that area and I don't want to miss this as part of this. So I will have to, settle with something. I will settle with this being perfect, sitting on top of each other, but I will pull this whole thing out. Okay, so I'm gonna use the scalping tool here and very, 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 very gently, I'm gonna pull this entire thing out, which I find it much more easier from that angle, by the way. Don't know why, but it looks pretty easier to do this that way. I can apply the X-ray, by the way, and have a look at this, and at the same time, the wireframe unshaded, so I can see much better the way that I'm pulling this without clipping and overlapping or whatever. See, this way evenly, I'm pulling this very, very gently without ruining the geometry too much. Just alignment, the entire thing here, making sure everything is pulled at the same time and not leaving any parts behind. So that will ensure that the shape look good. So you can see that I'm already pulling this a little bit too much, but I'm succeeding on bringing this to the back. So That's the point of this sculpting right now. Okay, this area is, I can turn off the X-ray so you will be able to see this. Okay, these, I'll press move preview so you can be able to see this better. Still have some more, you see, all this area, pulling this out. Not hard, but it takes time. You can see me working here and doing my best to readjust this layer. This layer is going to be the glass material, which is really, really important to make sure it's done correctly. Okay, so with that done, I'm gonna save this file, save scene. Okay, now from this point, I will create copies of my other later on, progression, though this one I want to be untouched because this is where right now I'm telling you that we're gonna extrude this, apply material, and later on we will continue in another second part on doing this. Okay, so we're gonna grab this, it's grabbed, switch to selection tool, and we're gonna go over the polygon shelf and click extrude, just as we did earlier with the other one. Now at this time we don't want to make it thick too much, again, just a little bit. If you like to see the glass thicker, be my guest, go ahead and pull this a little bit more, but this time we don't need to deal much with, grabbing an edge and split it to two and all that crap. Only right click, assign new material. Now, if you haven't already downloaded my Mental Ray, we are in a problem. If you haven't, go and do it. And by the way, you saved this, so everything should be fine. You can continue and do it later on. Now, I'm going to assign a new material, but my first attempts on doing this was to try and use the Maya Material X, as I had learned a few months ago that I can use it as for glass. But I happen to want to try the dielectric material, which most of the time I used at this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over Window, Rendering Editor, and Hypershade. This is the only way to get to this dielectric material, sorry, and you need to type in the die as for drop dead and choose the dielectric material. Now, right now I'm choosing it, and you can see it appears here. So I'm grabbing this and right click on this, assign material to selection, and I'm done with this. I need only to go over edit, delete by type, history, and dielectric material tab from this to change this into 1.6 or I don't know what. If you hover your mouse over here for quite a few seconds, okay, it will tell you, it will give you an index of how this, what each value means, how it will look like apparently. Now it works with the Maya Material X, though here I'm not sure what's going on with it. I'm gonna hover my mouse over here, here. I don't know. Anyway, let's do 1.6 or 1.33, okay? Anyway, this is the time where we're gonna go over the render settings, change to Mental Ray. This you need to change to Mental Ray. Now, again, if you haven't downloaded Mental Ray, you won't have it. So, configuration, scene, go down here and choose create image-based lighting under environments. It should be open and not collapse. So environments, please click create. It will create this sphere. Sometimes this sphere will be very tiny as the grid size. I mean, very tiny, much more than the grid size. So you will need to scale it up manually. And sometimes, as you see right now, if you create it after you inserted an object, it will relatively been created to that object. Okay, so this is open, and now you can close this and select your sphere. This is the HDRI lighting system, which you will need to apply an HDRI map or file, or I don't know, environment file kind of file. So um, remember earlier on, we decided to download some packs, and you don't need to stay satisfied only with those. You can download other packs from the web. Some of them are, you know, free. Some of them are paid products. But as for education purpose only, go and download whatever you see that is free. Okay. Now with that done, we're gonna basically open one of them. So I have here Studio HDRI zip file. I'm gonna expand this where it is. Studio HDR. Oh, I'm confused with something else here. Studio. I'm looking for Studio. I'm double clicking on this. Okay. Now I have this and tons of viruses on my computer. No, I'm joking. And I will have this folder here. So now I can go over here, select my sphere, scroll up here, click on this folder icon, go over my downloads folder, which is, this is where I've been downloading those, and unzip them at the same time. So I can go over Studio HDR giveaway, and we have a preview and the files itself. So you want to see the previews. Okay, this is the preview. This is the preview. I'm looking for something more brighter than those. So the preview are just a way for me to see it here. Okay. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this one. I don't like this one. And don't like this one. I prefer something which is a little bit more brightened, as like this one. Okay. But I'm again looking for something. So maybe I won't find it. Maybe this is the best bright one. So this is Studio Preview 003, and this is the file itself. 003. No, this is the file itself. This is the small one. I don't know why. There are two. Anyway, Studio 003.hdr. Click open, and this picture will be applied to this sphere, as you can see. So this acts as our light system right now. Now we will need to do some modifications to it. But before that, I'm gonna save this, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna wish you a pleasant day, and thank you for watching this tutorial. We're gonna continue later on because I wanna make it 2 parts tutorial. It's just a little bit too much for now, I will continue at the next part, okay? So save scene as, right? I said that I will create different saves from each step. So save as, and see you at the next part. Thank you. Bye.